Hello everybody, happy Friday and going live first time in a few weeks. So good to see everybody, and I wanted to do this morning. It's important, it's Friday for the weekend. As everybody knows, it's November, it's starting to get cold at night. Days are getting shorter, and so I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking to everyone about, what are we doing with the planted wall, with the harvesting. We've got kind of the end of the season, and we need to take things out of the wall. I want to walk through that. And then also for all our new Planted Box members, so exciting. We just launched that in the last month, as people know, because a lot of you guys were watching us. And we've got those guys. We shipped everything out last week, and these guys have planted, and they're starting to grow food in containers. So I want to give a couple tips for that as well. So let's get started first with kind of planted box and container growing and what's going on there. So everybody is so excited. I love all the comments. People are telling us, this is my happy place. I had so much fun. A lot of people are doing this with their kids. I've got a lot of requests for people to they want me to hire their kids. I love it. But anyways, what I want to do is talk about a couple of comments, questions that have been coming up. One of them is, there are birds out there, and there are sometimes rodents, as we all know, and they like to get into new things that are on your patio or your deck. And so couple of just tips for people. One thing you want to do is if you can, with your containers, you want the grow pots, you want to try to put those on a table or a shelf, something kind of off the ground. That will absolutely deter the animals. Definitely in our kind of backyard here in the test gardens, I have things on tables. As you can see here, I'll switch it around. I've got this table that I've got here, and I put the grow pots there. I also have it makes a great centerpiece. I've got an outdoor kind of dining room table. I also put more grow pots on a center of the table there, and I don't have any issues with animals of the night, as I like to call them, coming and digging in there, which is good. Now, we've also had comments about birds. And so some of the things in terms of birds, what you want to do, there's some tricks you can do, is, they like the young, fleshy leaves of the seedlings because they're easy. I mean, those tend to be targets for pests and things like that because they're easy. They're easy to eat, right? And so put your herbs kind of, in a way, almost kind of hide the leafy greens, put the herbs in front of it because the herbs aren't as attractive. Oh my goodness, my sprinkler is going on right now. Oh my God, I'm getting wet. Okay, sorry about that. That was not fun. All right, all the unexpected things that happen. Anyway, so do that. So kind of, surround those with herbs. And then also what you can do is if you're having a big problem, use bird netting. You can put that over, you can get that at your Ace Hardware, any kind of hardware store. They have bird netting, and just kind of put that over that to deter the birds. Do that for a while, and I think they kind of get the message. That's what I do, and then I notice they go away. Another thing you can do is you can put shiny objects kind of near your pots. Hang something nearby. That also, it's kind of like in the vineyards where they grow grapes, they do that. So it kind of deters birds as well. So that will help. Another thing to think about that you want to be aware of is you just want to, as they're growing in, like I said, they are more sensitive, and people, and the kind of what that basically means is they're kind of targets sometimes for pests and stuff. And so because we've got the living soil and they're very healthy, it really deters that because it's a healthy plant growing in. But you want to watch for, we call them cabbage moths. They look like white butterflies with black spots. And I have been seeing a lot of those around our test gardens. And you got to be careful of those because what they do oftentimes is they're laying eggs. And those eggs are going to turn into caterpillars or loopers, very small caterpillars that are going to eat your leafy greens. And so if you see a white butterfly flying around, you want to just kind of go on the underneath the leaves and just kind of look for eggs. Just wipe those off with your finger, but you want to be on top of it. And if you remember, we talked about the habit of guarding and kind of stick habits. We talked about that during our launch, and that's important. You kind of want to just make it a habit of going out there and checking on them. Important. Also make sure that you've got your grow pots in the sun. So I'm going to switch around here and show you. These are some grow pots I have. These have been grown in for a while. And this is my kale, Swiss chard, and arugula. And do you see I kind of put them on my table, kind of a little centerpiece here, and they're in the sun. They're very happy, so they're growing and they're happy. Now, how do you know when you need to water them? So what you do is you want to put your finger, and you just kind of, just put your finger into the soil, and you want to put it in about, probably about like an inch, sorry about that, my phone, half an inch or so. You want to put that in there, and if it's damp, it's fine, but if it's dry, you want to make sure to water. Important, our planted box people, you guys got some herbs, and you also got some leafy greens. And the herbs, you want those to dry out more. So sage and oregano, they like to dry before you water them. Again, leafy greens, you kind of want to keep that. You don't want it to, you want to kind of keep that soil always moist is how you think about that. You don't want that soil to dry out as much. Herbs like it to dry out. So and what's good about the container gardening is you can monitor that easier because they're separate. So that's a good thing to know. So that's exciting about the plant. And I want everybody to tell everybody also about the planted box too, is holiday is coming up. And so we are working really hard to pull together some really fun holiday gift planted box gift ideas for you guys. And so we're going to be introducing some exciting things. And if you go link on our Instagram link, you will see a landing page where we talk about it, and we'll put a link in this Facebook post as well. But now let me move over here to our planted wall. I want to show you, because this is end of season and things have been growing all summer. And especially obviously the fruiting plants and the herbs. And so now this is the time of year when we want to be changing this out, okay? And in fact, I would argue up here in Northern California, I'm potentially a little late in doing it, but I really wanted to wait so I could talk to you guys about it. But if you remember, you've been watching, this is my leafy green side, and you can see it's primarily, lettuces. I've got kale in there, Swiss chard, I've got some spinach. And so this is, in terms of, I am behind on my harvesting. I have been busy and I haven't been harvesting. And so I wanted to show you what happens when you've been kind of leaving it alone. I got this romaine here. He needs to come out of the wall. You can see he is starting to bolt. Okay, that's how you know, because he's starting to grow up. This one here is a leaf lettuce. It's beautiful. It's fine. It's got a lot of leaves on it. I need to harvest to make some salads. This is another example of a leaf lettuce that it is bolting. Do you see here? You can just see it growing. It's becoming a tree. And if I taste that lettuce, it's probably going to be a little on the bitter side. So I need to cut that out, cut the stalk off and put a new seedling in there. And what I do with these, when it gets like this, I will cut this whole stalk off, and then I will rinse these leaves, and then I put them in the refrigerator, and with paper towel, and that keeps them really fresh for much longer than if you were to buy lettuce at the farmer's market or even the grocery store. And that's because it's coming out of the wall completely fresh right now. Okay, some of the things I want to show you, because we're starting to get cooler nights and it's starting to get damp at night, be on the lookout. This is powdery mildew. And you'll see my new growth is okay, but this growth here, this is powdery mildew. And you want to, it's like, ooh, you want to make sure that's just because it's the damp, and you want to be over that. You can spray that with a insecticidal organic spray. That will help. Oftentimes what I do is I just take those leaves off because it's just on the older growth. Okay, if I go to this other side of the wall, this thing absolutely needs to be changed out. So let me show you what's going on here. This kale, it's becoming literally a tree in the wall. It still tastes awesome. So you can decide. It's a total personal preference. Like if you want to free this, if you had a planted wall here, if you wanted to free it up, you just cut it and you would put in a new seedling, right? This thing's still producing a lot, and quite honestly, I just love kale, so I'm keeping it in a little bit longer, but you don't have to do that. Here is some leaf lettuce. This is red salad bowl leaf lettuce. This thing is a tree. Look at this. Like I mentioned to everybody, I have been busy and I haven't been able to keep on top of it, and this thing literally in the last week, when they bolt and they go fast, and so this guy needs to come out as well. But really this time of year, what you want to be pulling out of your wall are things like your basil. So here's my basil. It's very happy, but it's been growing all summer. And so it's too cold at night now. And so it's not going to grow anymore. In fact, it's going to start dropping its leaves. The leaves are going to start turning yellow and they're going to start dropping because it's just too cold at night. So what I want to do is I'm going to harvest this whole thing and make a ton of pesto is what I'm going to do. So that's what's going to go on here. I've got some peppers up here. This is the same thing. The peppers, you see, I've got a beautiful one here. I've got one here. These ones, this one's starting to turn red. These ones are green. Probably what's going to happen, because it's hot, it's cold at night now, and the days are shorter, and it's just not getting the heat that it gets. It's probably, these green peppers are probably not going to change. And so that's important to know. A lot of people will think, oh, the peppers are there, everything looks fine. But because of the temperature change up in the Bay Area, it's not going to do much more. And so I don't want to take up all this space in one of my pots. And so I'm going to take this off and I'm going to harvest. I'm going to make some salsa. I'm going to make some marinated peppers. I'm pickled peppers. I'm going to do some different things with that, which we will share recipes as we do it because I'm excited about that. But that's kind of here. Parsley, this parsley's okay. I planted this, I believe this has been in here for 2 months. So this is still good. I'm not going to change anything with this. I'll keep that in. But if I go over to some of my other walls, this one has been going for a long time and it needs to be changed out. So these peppers are this is great. I'm going to harvest this whole thing and get rid of that. You can see this basil here. It doesn't look so good. And, part of it is this is really exposed to the colder weather just because of where this wall is situated. And so, yeah, this is what it looks like. You can just see the growth is getting leggy. It's kind of yellowish. This needs to come out. It's flowering. It needs to come out. These are some scallions, same thing. These scallions have been in for a long time, and I just want to cut those all out and replenish and put something new in there. So most of the things on this wall that you're seeing, most of these are herbs, and you can just tell they look, they've been growing all season, and they've been being harvested all season, and it's time for all that to come out. The peppers, the basil, the scallions here. Definitely this parsley, it's overgrown. If I taste it, it's a little bitter. These chives are, these are, I could probably keep this a little bit more, cut it back and keep that going. But for the most part, your peppers need to come out, your basils need to come out, and definitely your tomatoes. I've taken most of my tomatoes out, but I've got this one here, and, he's just not happy. And it's just because it's getting too cold at night. And but you can see I've got a lot of peppers here. So I am changing out my entire wall of this side and this side because this has been growing all summer with herbs and leafy greens and fruiting plants. And I need to replant it with winter seasonal. And same thing with this side. So anyways, very exciting. Lots of stuff going on. I'm going to be very, very busy this weekend with a lot of planting. So let us know if you've got any questions, you guys. Post your questions I'm going to go ahead, when this live gets posted, post questions. I'll leave a link that is going to tell you about our planted box and our planted wall holiday promotions that we have, because this is going to be such a great gift giving season. What better way to do it than give people the gift of growing food year round? So very exciting. Thank you for all the Planted Box members. You guys are great. I love all your questions that you're sending us, and I love how excited you guys are. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.